Day after day, your own life's a wreck. The power is the beat, just breathe on your neck. You get no respect, you get no relief. You gotta speak up and yell out your piece. So back off your rules, back off your jive. I'm sick of not living to stay alive. Leave me alone, I'm not asking a lot. I don't wanna be controlled. It's all I want. 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 Yeah, 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 yeah.
We opened it, and we're shocked to see Toby, but he wasn't the same. Half his face looked like the other faded faces of the infected. But somehow, he was the same Toby we knew and loved. However, it seems Toby now has a split personality only he can hear. Toby was glad someone came for him. Apparently, he was stuck in the shed when this all started 2 weeks ago. He was mad at all the engines who had passed by and didn't think of checking the sheds. He was also irritated at Percy but didn't want to talk about it. He calmed down fast now that he had others to talk to. Toby then went pale as he saw the mist get darker. He yelled for us to get in, and we didn't hesitate. We got Percy, Thomas, Annie, Clarabelle, and the passengers into the sheds, but we couldn't get Donald. He looked into the mist and heard what we got was Douglas telling him to join him and that it isn't as bad. The turntable began to move on its own as Donald slowly followed the voice as Toby begged him not to listen, but it was too late. He was gone. Toby said that when the mist goes dark it becomes more influential to those who hear its call. The mist began to clear up and Toby said it was good to head out and about time. It was almost an hour in there. We told him about Brendam. He was reluctant but decided to come with us as he didn't want to be alone again. This just happened and I'm writing as fast as possible. We stopped at Wellsworth to search the station for supplies or any survivors. While doing so, Toby was mumbling to himself. Percy tried to talk with him but Toby took no notice. Just then we heard Thomas' frantic whistle, and he shot right past us. He yelled for us to hurry up. He was then sent down the Brendam branch. What the hell are Bob and Ted doing? They going to get themselves killed? While heading down the Brendam branch, we saw Thomas sitting in the middle of the line. He was looking at something. The smoking remains of Bertie laying on his side. It seemed as though he was hit by something, but we had no idea what, but all we knew was that he was dead. Thomas began to cry, saying how he lost everyone. This was strange as we were still here. Toby tried comforting him, but it didn't work. We realized that if Bertie was here, his driver also had to be nearby, so we checked the nearby town, and in one of the buildings there was his driver who was staring off blankly as he sat at the table and told us what happened. He said that he tried contacting Ted on his radio so Bertie could talk to Thomas as he feared he was killed. Sadly, while Thomas was escaping the facility, Ted's radio fell out of the cab, and when they went back to retrieve it, it was damaged beyond repair. Believing they were gone, Bertie decided to take his life while his driver was searching for supplies. We asked what hit Bertie. He broke down, saying that Bertie killed himself by moving onto the tracks, letting that big banana hit him, and in his words, the son of a bitch didn't even try to stop and just kept going. He began to cry, and Ted went to comfort him but didn't get a chance as Bertie's driver grabbed his rifle, pointed it at himself, and pulled the trigger. The sound echoed around the village, and the room went silent as no one could believe what they witnessed. I saw Ted got some of Bertie's driver's blood splattered on him as he just stared at his lifeless body. When we got back, Thomas still wasn't doing good, but we decided not to tell him what had happened, fearing for Thomas' mentality, but we knew Thomas knew exactly what had happened. We soon at Brendam, where we saw a bunch of bodies, some in rooms with what looked to be a timer and a trap. Those must have been the games Thomas told us about. We uncoupled Percy from Toby and searched the docks alone. We didn't want to risk everyone else's lives. While searching Brendam we found Bill and Ben, the clay pit's engines, but there was no saving for them. They were turned, so we put them out of their misery. It wasn't easy to do, but we knew they were in pain. We also saw a rectangular shape in the water. At first we were puzzled, but on closer inspection that faded dark green paint and black roof told us who it was. The waves hit him hard, and at times we saw his face. It was battered and mutilated as the salty waters took its effect. We saw he was also turned, but instead of a creepy smile it was a face of fear as he was perpetually screaming. We were heading back to Thomas and Toby when we saw the mist outside the docks grew darker. We thought we were safe. Sadly, that wasn't the case. We had been lured into a trap. As we neared the station we saw Toby and Thomas were being held hostage by Salty and Fergus, who were both heavily infected. They asked us if we wanted to play a game in a sinister and demonic tone. We didn't have a chance to reply when they and their crews forced us into the games. I'm sad to say not everyone made it. Percy was forced to play what Salty and Fergus called through the points, which was where the points constantly changed and we had to time our movements. For Thomas they made him play dodge the trucks, and we almost lost him because Ted tried to purposely crash him into a truck, who Bob luckily managed to take control of it. The dodge, and for Toby the goal was for him to reach the coaches which had the rest of the survivors. While doing so he would have to dodge trucks and changing points. By the time it was over we had lost about a quarter of the people we had. One guy survived but lost his arm in the process. We're not sure if he'll make it. As soon as we got everyone we could, we raced away to the nearby coaling plant. I don't think we'll be back there anytime soon. We reached the coaling plant and confronted Ted about what he did, and he said that Thomas wanted it as they knew they were walking into a trap. Apparently Thomas told me he couldn't handle losing so much at once and wanted it to end. We told him everything would be fine, and he just needed some sleep. In the middle of the night we awoke to a gunshot and ran out to search for the source. We later found it in one of the workmen's hut and saw Bob standing over Ted, who had turned. Bob said that Ted had been making weird noises and muttering to himself for the past few days, but didn't think that much of it. This is because they went to his home to search for his family only to find they had been turned, leading to Ted putting down his family. Bob thought the noises were him trying to equip the deaths, but now he knows it was him trying to fight the mist, which he had lost the battle. Bob went to check on him, but was only attacked, and it ended with Bob shooting Ted down. As Ted took his final breath, the remaining part of his human face smiled and went cold.